Catch the ball, it's highest point.
Go. When you see the ball, go. Go, 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 go. Good job, Reed. Go, 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 go. Good job. Heads up. Sorry.
It's a good.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna talk about something real quick. We're gonna talk about your essays that you wrote for me. So whether, obviously, Carter was a good or bad president. Somebody tell me their point of view on it and why they think he was a good president. Yeah,
I'd say he was a good president. I mean, he's not a great president, but
he's a good president.
yeah, I mean, if you look at like the statistics for like the economy at the time, unemployment did go down, and he did help the economy, if ever so slightly. But I mean, it's better to have a slight change for the better than a great change for the worse.
Very good.
And
Very
I think
good.
he handled foreign problems pretty well.
He did. He did handle foreign problems pretty well. Yeah, go ahead.
I said I thought that he was a good president because he didn't like keep things from the public. Like he was
Okay,
always,
so who
like,
kept things from the
open,
public?
Like Gerald Ford and Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Richard Nixon.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good point. I didn't really hear anybody say that before, but that's a great point. He doesn't keep things from the public, right? He's not gonna keep a lot of things from the public, and he's gonna kind of be a little bit more open on situations. And yeah, the the situation he had in the economy was given to him from the Nixon administration, okay? So things that happened are gonna happen because of the previous presidents. Did anybody say he was a not so great president? A devil's advocate, somebody say he wasn't a good president? Did everybody say he was a good president?
I forgot to write it.
You forgot to write it?
I was gonna say he was not so good.
Why isn't he not so good? What were some of your ideas?
The oil.
The
was
oil,
around,
okay,
$10 in the early '70s. In the late '70s, it was for like a gallon.
okay, so you're gonna
was
say that's,
like $100.
okay, so you're gonna say that's, what
That's
could
for
have
a
Carter done?
barrel, right?
Or yeah,
Per
the barrel.
per barrel. You're gonna say that Carter wasn't good because of that?
Well, I was gonna put more in there, but that's
Yeah.
all I had right now.
Alright, Lee,
Just wanted to say, it wasn't really his fault, I mean, it was more on OPEC,
there you go.
and he did handle it well by setting up the Department of Energy to
Mhm.
find alternative sources of energy to power the nation while we couldn't get enough oil.
Okay,
So, I mean, he found a solution to it, because you can't exactly, it's hard to convince someone when they have that much power over, over the business that you're talking about.
yes, that, I completely agree with that. And I also agree with you too, Brendan, I see both sides to that situation. Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to fix something within a short amount of time, especially in a nation that's huge. We have a lot of trading outside. It's really hard to fix something when you have so many other issues coming into play. Does that make a little bit of sense? It's really difficult like that. And one more person, why'd you say he was a good president? Somebody else, one person we haven't really heard from. If you all said he was a good president, somebody tell me, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I said that he was a good president, but for a reason to think that he's not, when he was being elected president, he was kind of like the Donald Trump situation where he wasn't as much of a politician as some of the other presidents
So like a
were.
Washington.
So when he was elected into office, he wasn't as what someone would say qualified to be the president, and he didn't get as much done as some people hoped.
Okay, yeah, I kinda agree with that too.
So he was a Washington outsider, right? But he was a politician, he was the governor of Georgia.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you need to be a Washington, you need to have some experience in Washington to be able to deal with Washington as the most powerful man in Washington?
No.
So what do you predict with Trump? Cause Trump's not a Washington guy, he's an anti-Washington guy, is this gonna be a train wreck?
He's more business than he is.
Hillary's a Washington lady.
It's not business. I mean, there have been economics, people have looked into it, and they
Yeah.
said that if he put all the money he got from his father into trying to think of the name of the,
401k,
no, it was I
IRA.
can't remember, some kind of fund, but it's like, it makes money slowly over time, and they said if he'd done that, he'd had about the same amount of money he has right now.
Oh,
So, because he went way in debt, like, I think it was like in the 80s, and then he only kind of came back out of it, so.
alright,
Well, he's been bankrupt twice,
yeah.
Well, I think the Trump
divorced a
casino,
couple times,
I think
Yeah.
the Trump casino's gone bankrupt 6 times.
6 times.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That is very ridiculous. So do you think that Trump would be able to be successful as a president? No? Yes?
He'd get
No?
shot.
I think
Get
Like
shot.
I always
purely
said.
on a foreign basis, no one would want to deal with the US, given a lot of his policies. I mean, like Britain's outright said, if we elect Trump, then they're cutting off all ties with us. And you can't exactly survive as a nation when you cut off all ties with one of your one of
Yes.
your major foreign allies.
Oh yeah, definitely. You gotta be able to get along with people, right? We trade with so many different people. We have so many different resources in different countries. We really have a lot of connections, so can you cut that completely off? No, that would be really difficult. We'll just have to see kind of what happens with Donald Trump. I
Well, we
mean,
didn't have a lot of foreign trade in the '20s, and our economic growth was booming.
It was booming during the 20s,
Yeah,
but we also didn't have that many people.
true. But
True? Because the more people we have, the
I
kind of more
think
resources we need, right?
I think there's a pro and con on
There definitely is.
We
Yeah.
currently have a
foreign trade.
dependency
I mean,
on-
we would produce our own stuff
Yeah,
if we
Yeah.
didn't trade with people, and
But what if we
a
ran out
lot
of
more
resources?
jobs in the middle class would
Oh,
grow.
would gain more jobs?
Middle and lower class will gain more jobs because we're losing a lot of jobs right now.
Alright, alright,
I
and I
mean,
see your point of view, I
There's
see your
pros
point
and
of view.
cons to
There's pros and cons to every situation, right?
Yeah.
Lee, you got something to add?
Well, yeah, that was when we had more resources and we didn't have dependencies. And if the person who's supplying us oil or the person who's supplying us, you know, like rubber or whatever, decided that they didn't want to supply us anymore, we had an alternative to fall back on. And maybe it was slightly more expensive, but we could still fall back on it. But now, I mean, you know, there's oil in Alaska, but getting to that would be hard. And even then, that's going to run out very,
Really
very
quick.
quickly, and then we're going to be left with nothing. So I mean, we have current dependencies that are gonna take a long time to rid ourselves of. And I mean, for instance, oil, the only way we can get out of that is to find an alternative energy source. Cars, I mean, it'd be hard to replace every car on the street with an electric one.
That would be really hard. That's a really good
I
point.
mean, that costs billions of dollars.
Billions and billions of dollars that we don't have, right? Yeah. Alright, that's awesome. So you guys come to a consensus, you think that Jimmy Carter was an okay president?
Yeah, he was okay.
Okay, President. Alright, we're gonna kinda talk a little bit about the transition that's going to be happening during this time period, okay? So I have like a transition period, I have some pictures of Jimmy Carter up there along with, Ronald Reagan, and a lot of different issues and the different things that are happening, in the United States, okay? Mr. Linder will kinda touch up with this more when I'm completely done, but this is kinda the points I want you to think about, alright? Different values, okay, so we're starting to get a little bit more different values during this time period, a little bit of transition of change, that's why I have it as a transition period. Okay, new conservatism, so what's happening with this is there's gonna be new conservatives, right? There's gonna be people that are coined as this who kind of believe in certain values. What do you think I mean when I say that word? If you can guess, from the title, what can you guess? What would be the ideals of these people? What would be the ideals of these people? Haley, what do you think the ideas would be?
Are conservatives.
Conservatives? Alright. Very, very, on what side? Conservatives more moderately or more radical? How would you think that? Radical? This is the actual definition for it. A political philosophy that developed between the 70s and the 80s, advocating the use of government power in pursuit of conservative domestic and foreign policies. So we're gonna see that, especially coming in with Reagan. You're gonna see those people who are really gonna start shifting. We're gonna have a really huge economic issue, social issues that's happening within the end of the 60s, right? We talked about that, 1968. We talked about a lot of different stuff like that. Moving into the 70s, you're gonna see that new wave, okay? Reagan's gonna really appeal to a lot of those American families, okay? The idea that we need to kind of get back to where we used to be and kind of really relate to different things. I put up here, Reagan was the answer to this. He was a figure of assurance and stability, okay? So it gave the American people a little bit of what they needed. Carter's gonna come in, before Reagan, he's gonna say different things, give that speech of crisis of confidence, and really talk about that and that issue, but American people are gonna be really, really, kind of taken aback by certain things, realize that the economy maybe is not where they want it to be, and they're gonna need someone to really help them. Reagan's gonna be their knight in shining armor, right? He's gonna promise a lot of things, come in, do a lot of great things for the economy, but that's kind of how they're relating it to it. I have both the new right and the old right kind of listed up here. Old right would be the ones that are super conservative in different issues, but you're gonna have the new right who are really looking for a great and stable economy, the idea of having great family values, but also a little less control of the whole civil rights issues as well. Not completely gone, but a lot of different stuff that are gonna happen. Radicals are gonna be huge. Liberals are gonna be huge. Look at all the liberal stuff that happened in 68, all the way up into the 70s, protests, riots. You're gonna start seeing a lot of different change and a transition period. So that's kind of what you gotta keep in mind when Mr. Linder talks about the different debates that are gonna be happening, especially the campaign of 1980. You're gonna really need to be able to think about that type of stuff when you think about how Carter's going to be and now new Reagan, okay? So that's some stuff you need to think about when you guys go to talk about Reagan. He's going to be a really good answer to a lot of people's problems, okay? That's kind of how America's gonna see him. With this new fresh life that we're going to be able to have, he's going to appeal to a lot of different people, be able to be on a wider spectrum of people who kind of want to get rid of the whole protest and start moving on to forget about the things a little bit more in the past. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. you guys can go ahead and, I took a little bit shorter than what I thought I was gonna take, but, there's a study guide on Google Classroom Mr. Linder put up. It's about Ronald Reagan, it's for you guys, to do for tomorrow, so that's something that's gonna be really great. Just get that finished completely, finish everything, it's just questions on the study guide, and go ahead and fill that out for tomorrow. You have the remainder of the class period to work on it, and get that all sketched out, so when he comes in to talk about it tomorrow, you'll all be ready. Sound good? Cool.